Hi, I'm Hugh from Gentle Myofascial Release. Today I want to talk about something that is changing the way we think about the human body. For years, anatomy was taught as separate systems. We had muscles, bones, nerves, blood vessels, organs, all treated like individual parts. But researchers are increasingly recognizing that there's another system connecting everything together. It's called fascia. And some scientists are beginning to describe fascia as the body's hidden intelligence network. Now that might sound a little strange, so let me explain. Fascia is a continuous web of connective tissue that surrounds and connects every muscle, bone, nerve, blood vessel, organ, and even every cell in your body. Imagine taking a sweater and pulling on one thread. The tension spreads throughout the entire garment. That's a little bit like fascia. Nothing in your body truly exists in isolation. Everything is connected. Traditionally, people have thought of fascia as simply packing material, like bubble wrap holding things together. But we're learning that fascia is much more active than that. It's rich in sensory nerves. In fact, some studies suggest fascia may contain more sensory receptors than muscle itself. That means your fascia is constantly gathering information about pressure, tension, movement, position, and your relationship to gravity. In a sense, fascia is one of the body's largest sensory organs. It's continuously communicating with your nervous system. Think of it as a giant information highway running throughout your entire body. And like any intelligent network, it adapts. Whatever stresses you put on your body, fascia responds to. If you spend 8 hours a day hunched over a computer, fascia adapts. If you have an old ankle injury and start favoring one side, fascia adapts. If you stop moving altogether, fascia adapts. The challenge is that adaptation isn't always beneficial. The body's first priority is survival, not comfort. So fascia often creates compensations that help us function today, even if they create problems for tomorrow. I often compare it to wet concrete. When it's fresh, it can be molded into almost any shape. But leave it there long enough and it hardens. The body works in a similar way. Repeated patterns become stored patterns. Over time, those patterns can influence posture, movement, flexibility, performance, and pain. But here's where things get even more interesting. Many people notice that fascia doesn't just seem to respond to physical stress. It often appears to respond to emotional stress as well. Think about what happens when you're anxious. Your shoulders rise, your jaw tightens, your breathing becomes shallow, and your stomach knots up. Those aren't just thoughts, they're physical changes. Every emotional experience has a physical expression in the body. If those stress responses happen often enough, the body can begin to hold them as long-term patterns. It's almost as if the body remembers what the mind has forgotten. Now, I want to be careful here. I'm not saying fascia literally stores memories the same way your brain stores memories. But many therapists, myself included, have observed that when long-held restrictions begin to release, people sometimes experience unexpected emotions, memories, or insights. Why might that happen? One possibility is that we're releasing physical patterns that have been associated with stressful experiences for years or even decades. When the body changes, the nervous system changes. And sometimes that creates space for new experiences. This connection may also help explain why fascia can influence mental health. Most people think mental health starts only in the brain, but your brain is constantly receiving information from the rest of your body. If your body feels restricted, compressed, guarded, and stressed, that information is continually being sent back to the nervous system. It's a two-way conversation. The mind influences the body, and the body influences the mind. Think about the difference between standing tall, breathing deeply, and moving freely versus being hunched over, tight, and holding your breath. Those physical states create a very different experiences. This doesn't mean myofascial release is a treatment for mental health conditions, but many people report feeling calmer, more grounded, more present, and more resilient after treatment. And from my perspective, that makes sense. When we reduce physical stress in the body, we're often reducing the amount of stress information flowing through the system. The body doesn't have to work as hard to protect itself. So what does all this mean? It means fascia is much more than connective tissue. It's a communication system, a sensory system, an adaptation system, a bridge between structure and function, between body and mind. And when we begin to improve the health and mobility of that system through movement, self-care, and gentle myofascial release, we're not just stretching one muscle or one joint. We're helping the entire network function more efficiently. Because when the network improves, everything connected to it has the opportunity to improve as well. I'm Hugh from Gentle Myofascial Release. If you'd like to learn more about how fascia influences pain, movement, posture, energy, and overall well-being, follow along for more educational videos.